Good morning, everyone. Today, we are going to discuss about approaches, methods, and techniques in teaching mathematics.
Which is the 5E learning cycle and activity approach. But before we proceed, let me read the objectives. First, identify the 5E's learning cycle and activity approach. Second, define the 5E's learning cycle and activity approach. Lastly, understand the importance of 5E's learning cycle and activity approach.
But before we start, I have here a jumbled letters and I want you to arrange it into a word. Very good. Your answers are correct.
This is CADAYONA VEA MAE and I am going to tackle about the 5E learning cycle.
Now let's proceed to the 5E learning cycle. This concludes the engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. Parallel to the pattern of problem solving used by scientists and mathematicians to tackle the real-life problems. They engage with materials, explore possibilities through experimentation, explain and elaborate on their observations, and evaluate their new findings. Engage. In this phase, teachers provide a question, object, or situations that focuses students' attention and helps them activate prior knowledge. In math lesson, this might be a number talk related to a task students are about to tackle, or an opportunity to notice and wonder. Explore. Students really dig into a task in this phase. One goal of the explore phase is for students to have a shared experience that both they and teachers can draw on later when explaining a new concept or skills. Explain. It's attempting to think that this is the part of the lesson or unit when the teacher explains the concepts or skills. Let's proceed to elaborate. The elaborate phase gives students a chance to explain their thinking and transfer their developing knowledge to new situations. This is an opportunity for students to work out misconceptions, often through collaboration when in a face-to-face setting. During distance learning, our teachers have provided opportunities for collaboration synchronously through Zoom and asynchronously through demos. Evaluate. In the final phase, both students and teachers assesses students' learning. Formative assessment should, of course, happen throughout each phase, but summative assessment is incorporated here at the end of the unit.
Good day everyone, I am Abril Princess Yvonne S. and I am going to tackle about the activity approach. Okay, so what is activity approach? So activity approach is a method or technique adopted by a teacher to emphasize his or her method of teaching through activity, in which the students participate rigorously and bring about efficient learning experiences. So this is a method in which a child actively involved in participating physically and mentally. So learning by doing is the main focus in this method. So as we all know that we learn from our doings, right? So the more we learn, the longer it retains. So in an activity-based teaching, learners willingly with enthusiasm internalize and implement concepts relevant to their needs. That so it is stated here that the learners are willingly internalize and implement the concepts that is relevant sa ilang needs. Okay, so why do we need to use activity-based learning method? So activity-based learning method facilitates students to learn in self-direction and develop critical thinking skills for problem solving at all levels of education. So, ang activity-based learning method, it helps the student in learning and also it develops their critical thinking skills. But not just only critical thinking skills, but also at all levels of education. So, students need to be provided with data materials that is necessary to focus their thinking and interaction in the lesson. for the process of analyzing the information. So, of course, that is because in the process of learning, we experience memorization and understanding. So, it is necessary to the students to provide necessary data and materials. So, teachers need to be involved in the directing and guiding the students' analysis of the information. So, of course, as a teacher, also, it is their responsibility to guide their students in the correct way. Okay, so to continued practice in these processes, students learn not the content of the lesson but also develop many other skills. So first, we have it enhances their creative aspect of experience. Second, it gives reality for learning. We have also uses all available resources. And also, it provides varied experiences to the students to facilitate the acquisition of knowledge, experience, skills, and values. So it also builds the students' self-confidence and develop understanding through work in his or her groups. And also, it gives experiences to develop interest, enriches vocabulary, and provides stimulus for reading. And also, it develops happy relationship between students and teachers. And also, it is an activity is said to be the language of the child. A child who lacks in verbal expression can make up through the use of ideas in the activity. And also, subjects of all kind can be taught through activity. And lastly, it is the social relation provides opportunity to mix with others. So that is the practices in this process in which students learn not just the content of the lesson but also to develop their skills. Okay, so there are three kinds of activities. First, we have exploratory. Second, we have constructive. And lastly, we have expressional. So, in the exploratory, this is the way the students explore to gain knowledge or to gather knowledge, concept, and skill. So, next is constructive. So, this is the way the students get to experience through creative works. And lastly, we have expressional. So this is the way the students make or create presentations to express their feelings, ideas, and others. Okay, so for our learning activities for test 1, we have enumeration 1 to 7. For test 2, we have enumeration 1 to 5. Enumerate the 5 is learning cycle. For 6 to 8, enumerate the 3 kinds of activities. And for test 3, we have essay for 5 points each. So first, we have in your own opinion, what is the importance of 5 is learning cycle? And for number 2, why is the activity approach important in teaching? So for our assignment, in the approaches, methods, and techniques in teaching mathematics, kindly study in advance the following, using patterns and the investigative approach. So that's all, thank you. And the reporters for today is CADAYONA VEA MAE and Abril Princess Yvonne S. from BE Ed 2A. So thank you everyone.